Afghanistan's history stretches back to prehistoric times, with evidence of human settlements dating back 50,000 years. It was part of the Indus Valley civilization, one of the world's earliest urban cultures, which flourished around 2000 BCE. Over time, the region became part of the Achaemenid Empire 550 to 330 BCE under the rule of Cyrus the Great. The Persian influence introduced advanced governance and infrastructure, making Afghanistan a crucial part of the empire's eastern frontier. Alexander the Great and Hellenistic influence, 330 BCE to 150 BCE. In 330 BCE, Alexander the Great invaded Afghanistan after defeating the Achaemenid Empire. He established several cities, including Alexandria, Arachosia, modern Kandahar, and introduced Greek culture. The region, known as Bactria, became a melting pot of Hellenistic, Persian, and local cultures. After Alexander's death, his empire fragmented, and the Greco-Bactrian kingdom emerged in the region, known for its fusion of Greek and local cultures. Rise of Buddhism and Kushan Empire 50 BCE to 300 CE. During the 1st to 3rd centuries CE, Afghanistan became a major center for Buddhism. The Kushan Empire, which ruled parts of present-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern India, played a vital role in spreading Buddhism across Central Asia and into China. The city of Bamiyan became a key religious and cultural center, home to the famous Bamiyan Buddha statues, which stood until their destruction in 2001. Islamic conquests and medieval dynasties, 7th century, 1500s. Islam reached Afghanistan in the 7th century, following the Arab conquests. The region quickly became a part of the Islamic Caliphate, and over time, various Islamic dynasties rose to power, including the Ghaznavids 977-1186 and the Ghurids 1149-1215. The Ghaznavids, from their capital in Ghazni, extended their influence as far as India, introducing Persian culture and Islamic architecture. During the 13th century, Afghanistan faced devastation from the Mongol invasion under Genghis Khan. However, in the 14th century, the Timurid dynasty, led by Timur Tamerlane, made the region a center of Islamic learning and culture. Herat, in particular, became a thriving center for Persian literature, art, and architecture. Establishment of the Durrani Empire 1747. The modern state of Afghanistan was founded in 1747 by Ahmad Shah Durrani, often considered the father of the nation. After the collapse of the Persian Safavid Empire, Durrani unified the Afghan tribes and established the Durrani Empire, which extended over much of modern-day Afghanistan, Pakistan, and parts of Iran and India. His reign marked the beginning of Afghanistan as a unified political entity. The Great Game and British influence 19th century. In the 19th century, Afghanistan became a focal point of the Great Game, a political and diplomatic struggle between the British Empire and the Russian Empire for influence in Central Asia. The British, concerned about Russian expansion toward India, invaded Afghanistan twice: First Anglo-Afghan War 1839–1842 and Second Anglo-Afghan War 1878–1880, but faced fierce resistance. The British eventually installed a puppet ruler, but Afghanistan retained much of its independence. The country's borders were drawn during this period, including the Durand Line 1893, which separated Afghanistan from British India, now Pakistan. 20th century and independence, 1919. In 1919, following the Third Anglo-Afghan War, Afghanistan regained full independence from British influence under King Amanullah Khan, who sought to modernize the country. He introduced reforms in education, women's rights, and infrastructure, but his efforts sparked resistance from conservative factions, leading to his abdication in 1929. King Zahir Shah (1933–1973) later ruled Afghanistan and pursued a more gradual modernization approach. His reign saw relative stability and neutrality during the Cold War, Soviet invasion and Civil War 1979–1989. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan to support the pro-communist government. The invasion led to a decade-long conflict between Soviet forces and Afghan Mujahideen fighters, who were supported by the United States, Pakistan, and other countries. The war devastated Afghanistan's infrastructure and society, causing millions of Afghans to flee as refugees. The Soviet forces withdrew in 1989, but the country plunged into civil war as various factions vied for power. The Taliban and US involvement 1990s–2021. After the September 11, 2001 attacks, the US invaded Afghanistan to dismantle the Taliban regime, accusing it of harboring al-Qaeda. For 2 decades, the US and NATO forces were involved in Afghanistan, attempting to rebuild the country and establish a democratic government. However, despite significant investment and efforts, the Taliban insurgency continued. In 2021, the US and its allies withdrew from Afghanistan, and the Taliban quickly regained control, marking a new chapter in Afghanistan's turbulent history. Amazing facts about Afghanistan: ancient crossroads of cultures. Afghanistan's location has made it a historic crossroads of cultures. It was a vital part of the Silk Road, facilitating trade between China, the Middle East and Europe, bringing in a blend of different traditions, goods, and religions. Home of the tallest Buddha statues, Afghanistan was home to the Bamiyan Buddhas, 2 of the tallest standing Buddha statues in the world, built in the 6th century. These statues, carved into cliffs, symbolized the region's Buddhist heritage before the spread of Islam. Cultural diversity. Afghanistan is home to a diverse range of ethnic groups, including Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, and others. Each group has its distinct culture, language, and traditions, contributing to Afghanistan's rich cultural mosaic. Kandahar, Alexander's legacy. The city of Kandahar, founded by Alexander the Great in 329 BCE as Alexandria Arachosia, still exists today. It remains an important historical and cultural city in southern Afghanistan. Buzkoshi, the national sport. Afghanistan's national sport, Buzkoshi, is a rugged game played on horseback where riders try to capture a goat carcass and bring it to a goal. This game has been played for centuries and reflects Afghanistan's nomadic traditions. Mineral wealth. Afghanistan is rich in untapped mineral resources, including lithium, copper, gold, and rare earth elements. These resources, estimated to be worth over $1 trillion, remain largely undeveloped due to ongoing conflicts. Khyber Pass. The Khyber Pass, one of the most famous mountain passes in the world, connects Afghanistan to Pakistan. Throughout history, it has been a crucial trade route and a strategic military point for empires from the Persians to the British. Birthplace of Rumi. The famous Persian poet and Sufi mystic, Jalaluddin Rumi, was born in Balkh, Afghanistan, in 1207. His poetry, which focuses on love, mysticism, and the human experience, continues to be widely read and loved worldwide. Afghanistan's architecture. Afghanistan boasts beautiful and historic architecture, such as the Blue Mosque in Mazar-i-Sharif and the Gardens of Baba in Kabul. These sites reflect the country's rich Islamic and Persianic cultural heritage. Resilience through hardship. Despite decades of conflict, Afghanistan remains a country of great resilience. Its people have maintained their cultural identity, traditions, and pride, continuing to rebuild their lives in the face of hardship.